Oh, hello. As promised, going to do a video on the Buryats today, and it's probably going to be in two parts. Sorry. And the third part, will be about their food. I'm looking forward to that one. And I might even make a Buryat dish, but it's not going to contain horse or camel or anything like that. Don't get worried. Yeah, I've been dreading this so much to write from Wikipedia and what else, encyclopedia.com and another website. I know most of it's copied out, but you can't get any books on the Buryats in the local libraries, so what can you do? And I don't think there's any in the bookstores either. And I'm not likely to get on a plane to go there, am I? One, I haven't got a passport. Two, I can't even get off a train. Three, I hate flying. And four, I don't think I'd even be able to get there. It's Russian territory, isn't it, Siberia? They stole it well, not all of it was bit by bit. It started in the 17th century, mid-17th century, with a rich Cossack family called the Stroganovs. That's where you get the dish called beef stroganoff from. Anyway, they claimed a bit of land and then it snowballed, and eventually Siberia, it's never been a country, it's always been a region full of loads of different indigenous people. But now it's more or less, it is part of Russia. There is only a tiny strip of land of Siberia that is actually not Russian, and that's in the border of Kazakhstan. Just a tiny strip of land. I'm sorry about mentioning Russia, but it can't be helped. And I didn't know. I've only been researching this for a few weeks, and I didn't even know that Siberia, or all of it, belonged to Russia. So apologies to people who do not like Russia at the moment. And apologies to any Ukrainians watching. I'm not pro-Russia, so I'm pro-Siberian. I'll tell you why. Where's my piece of paper gone? Yeah, a while ago, I found out that I had East Asian stroke Siberian, well, they're East Asian, heritage from my mother's side, and her mother's side, and her mother's side, etc. And it's called mitochondria, it's a haplogroup, mitochondrial DNA 4B1C /D3. And there's 10 people here. Don't worry, I'm not going to do all 10 of them. I think they all live in Siberia apart from the Inuit. So I'll probably write about the Inuit. They're native to North America. But thousands of years ago, their ancestors crossed the Bering Strait from northeast Siberia, or southwest, I don't know, probably northeast Siberia into the Americas. Okay, I just fancied doing the Buryat ones first, because I looked at the images, and I like the look of the Buryat people, and there was a picture of an elderly couple, obviously a man and his wife, and the woman looked remarkably like my late grandmother, except she was darker, dark hair, skin, eyes, etc. But she reminds me of my granny. And I thought, I'll do them first. I'm related to them. Yeah, 29% of the people have got exactly the same haplogroup as mine, and it is the biggest among the Buryat people. So I've got a lot in common with them. And the late actor, Yul Brynner, he was part Buryat as well. And his dad was Swiss German. So it's probably related to him. He died in 1985. Anyway, maybe a bit more about him later. It's going to be a long video. I'm going to try and keep it to 2 parts and not go over 3. Be ridiculous. Alright, there's 10 different people. I'm going to choose a few more. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm just hoping the Buryat one was the longest, you know, the most written about. Alright, I'm sorry, I did copy this out from Wikipedia, but if I attribute, you know, it's a free encyclopedia anyway. I don't think I'm going to be hauled to prison. It's not WikiLeaks or anything like that. So I don't think I want to get into any trouble. Alright. It says the Buryats are a Mongolic ethnic group. Well, it says genetically, somewhere I read today, they're more related to Koreans. But they do speak a Mongolic language. Yeah, the Buryats are a Mongolic ethnic group native to southeastern Siberia. And when you think of Siberia, you think of snow, don't you? Well, not in this part, no. You have to go really far up north for all that snow and freezing cold. Reindeer country. Right. They are one of the 2 largest indigenous groups in Siberia. Didn't know that. Well, I knew it when I was writing it down, but I forgot it. The other being the Yakuts. And I'm related to them as well, I think. Yeah. CA, sorry. Something I have to... No. Oh, yeah, and in this vlog, I'm not going to go into much about folklore, history, because it's boring. It's just mainly about warfare, you know, stuff like that. In-group fighting with other peoples, you know, etc. and politics. I've mainly left them out. Hope you don't mind. Right. Alright. The Buryats live in Siberia, Russia. They live in Russia, basically. And their population, I don't know when this Wikipedia page was written. Sorry, I think it was about 2018. I'm not sure. The population in Russian Siberia, I'm going to call it, is 460,053. But there's populations in other parts as well. Buryatia, which is a mountainous Russian republic, founded in 1992. So just after the fall of communism and, the Iron Curtain, Buryatia became like a republic. But it has got some autonomy, but it's still part of Russia, really. But it's their country in a way, the Buryats. But it's still part of Russia, unfortunately. Alright. Yeah, so that was founded in 1992. And it's mountainous. The population is 295,273. And in Irkutsk Oblast, that is in Siberia as well. An oblast means an administrative region in Russia. And the population there, I don't know if it's to the west, I think it's to the west of Buryatia. I'm not sure. Anyway, their population is 74,746. Oh, actually, no, it's in the east. Irkutsk is a city in eastern Siberia, but there is a place in the west as well, which has a large Buryat concentration as well. Mongolia, which is that to the north or the south? That's to the south of Siberia. I always thought it was to the north for some reason. No. To the north is China, then Mongolia, and Siberia. Like that, I think. Yeah. Something like that. I get confused. Well, the population of Buryats in Mongolia is 45,087. That's quite a lot of people then. Alright, according to a census, the census of 2021, is that 2 years ago? 2 years ago, ethnic Russians made up, and this is, I get a bit angry when I read this, ethnic Russians made up 64% of Buryatia Republic. While the ethnic Buryats comprised of only 32.5% of the population, and the rest were people from Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Tartars, Armenians, etc. I couldn't believe that their own republic was mainly full of ethnic Russians. If I was in Buryatia now, I'd be really angry, because I'm a Buryat. Actually, I don't know how they get along, the Russians and the Buryats. I think they get on all right, and a lot of them get married to each other, so it can't be that bad, can it? So the total population of all the Buryat people, well, it's well over 500,000. They didn't add it all up, did they? Yeah, it's well over 500,000. Yeah, well over. Oh, what's that about? Oh yeah, the Buryat language. 1 and 2. Yeah. The majority of Buryat speakers live in Russia, in brackets Siberia. I don't have to keep saying that now, do I? Along the northern border of Mongolia. Oh, the northern border of Mongolia, where it is an official language in the Buryat Republic. Between 2010 and 2017, there were 340,000 native speakers. That's just an estimation. Apparently their language is on the endangered list. So I hope they keep it alive. Alright, and I'm sure they've got initiatives to keep it alive as well. This goes into a bit more detail. Buryat belongs to the Altaic group of languages, which includes languages such as, I don't know how right this is correct, I'm not sure, because there's been some debate on whether Buryat is related to these languages, but this is what I read somewhere and I wrote it down. It might be wrong. Oh, there's a lot of truth in some of it. Alright. Buryat belongs to the Altaic group of languages, which includes languages such as Turkish, Mongolian, and arguably even Korean and Japanese. No, I don't think so. Altaic languages have historically been spoken across areas of Asia and Eastern Europe. What they mean is Russia, I think. You know, that part, the Slavic countries. I didn't know that. And our names. No, they must mean like near the Urals, that part of Russia, before you get to Siberia. You know, where there's a lot of redheads and other weird people. Yeah, it's not really Eastern Europe, is it? It's more like Central Asia. All right. And the people are named after, the language is named, or the people that speak the languages are named after the Altai Mountains in Central Asia. Not not Eastern Europe. Buryat belongs to the Mongolic group of Altaic languages, along with Mongolian, Dagur. Is that one of my people? No. Kalmyk. No, not one of my people. Mongol, not one of my people. And this sounds a bit like Chinese. Dongxiang. Buryat has many dialects, including Kori, Lower Uda, which has the strongest Turkic influence, Alatunka, Ekkerit, Bulagit, and Barghuts. Do you reckon you can remember them? I'll test you in the morning. Because of significant differences in vocabulary, some also choose to distinguish between Russian Buryat, Mongolian Buryat, and China Buryat. Yeah, probably, yeah. Alright, that's the language done and dusted. I'd like to know what it sounds like. I think I'll listen to the national anthem. If you go on Wikipedia, like the Buryats or Buryat people or something, and you can listen to the national anthem, and it's really grim, like most national anthems. Oh yeah, modern Buryat vocabulary has been heavily influenced by Russian, obviously. Alright, Buryat way of life. Their way of life. Traditionally, Buryats are a semi-nomadic people, herding and tending livestock such as cattle, sheep, goats, and even horses, and even a few camels. Alright, this is where I'm getting confused now. The Buryats inhabit the steppes, which is an area that is dry, arid, and dry, arid grassland and mountains. That's the ones that don't live in the sort of Buryatia, where they've got proper houses to live in. This is the herders, the nomads, I mean. Yeah, tough weather. Not weather, but environment, you know. There's dry grass everywhere and wind. Flat as a pancake. No trees, or not many. Alright. Religion. During Soviet times, all or most religions were banned. I'm not sure about Judaism. I'm not sure. No, I think they were all banned. Though many people practice their religious beliefs in secret. The state religion of the Soviet Union was atheism. Many people grow up not knowing anything about any religion, God or anything. The traditional religion of the Buryats was shamanism. Mountains, rivers, forests, and the sky were all considered to have their own spirits or gods that had to be respected. Animals, too, had their own spirits that had to be respected as well. The Buryats also held fire to be sacred and sacrificed meat, milk, fat, alcohol, and butter to it. Just throw it in, the butter, the alcohol. A tribal priest or shaman was responsible for communicating with the spirits. The shaman performed rituals at births, marriages, and burials, and officiated at sacrifices, the most important of which was the horse sacrifice to the sky god Tengri. Well, I don't think they sacrifice horses anymore. Maybe a dead horse, I don't know. There were both male and female shamans, and the profession of shaman was hereditary. Many of the Buryats are Buddhists of the Tibetan tradition. The Buddhism practiced by the Buryats has incorporated many shamanist beliefs and rituals. I don't know how many Russian Orthodox Christians there are in Siberia amongst the Buryats. I think it's quite small, I'm not sure, but maybe in Buryatia, the Republic, it might be quite sort of medium, quite a few. Didn't really go into details about that, so I'm not sure. And also there's other Christian groups as well. They get everywhere, like the Mormons and people like that. Alright. Buryatia, or are they banned from Russia? I don't know. But there's probably Baptists, people like that there, Methodists, etc. Converting people. Right. Buryatia covers about 351,300 square kilometres. That's a lot, isn't it? Along Lake Baikal. Because I kept saying Baikal. But tonight I looked it up how to say it. It's Baikal. Yeah. Making it 1.5 times larger than Great Britain. So yeah. Buryatia, the Republic of Buryatia, is 1.5 times larger than Great Britain. So it's big, isn't it? The capital is the city of Ulan-Ude. Buryatia contains several major rivers and 6 lakes, the most famous being Lake Baikal. Buryatia covers 60% of the lake's shoreline. The lake is very pure and contains various edible species of fish. Over 80% of the Republic's territory is located in the mountainous region. The Republic's natural resources include gold. That's why the Russians went there in the first place. Not just for the fur, but the gold as well. Gold, tungsten, it's a type of steel, isn't it? Zinc, uranium, and more. Buryatia was autonomous at one point. However, this autonomy has been curtailed following the 2004 law passed by V. Putin that decreed regional governors and presidents were to be appointed rather than directly elected. So that means Putin appoints the presidents and regional governors, more or less. Oh, some people thought, oh, Putin looks rather Asiatic, doesn't he? He's 70. He's 70. And some people said, I wonder if Putin has got, like, Asiatic blood in him. Because of his eyes, especially. And it turns out that no, he hasn't. It's just that his plastic surgery has made him look Asian. I hope he doesn't mind. If he's watching this video, I hope he doesn't mind. I don't know him. I don't want to judge him because I don't know him. I'm on no one's side, alright? No one. I don't believe in war. I think it's for morons. Sorry. I think about the ordinary people. They don't want these wars. I'm sure they don't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not interested in war. Most urban Buryats are either Buddhists or Russian Orthodox. Oh, that answers my question earlier. Rural Buryats often adhere to yellow shamanism, which is a mixture of shamanism and Buddhism, or to black shamanism, which does not incorporate Buddhist beliefs or practices. Buryatia's climate is harsh and continental, but I don't know what that means. Because Buryatia is far from the moderating influence of the sea and high above sea level, temperatures are extreme and precipitation is sparse. Don't know what that means either. Precipitation. Winters are long, dry, and very cold. The average January temperature ranges from minus 23 centigrades to minus 27 centigrades. So very, very cold. Summers are short, hot, and hot. But what I don't understand is this bit. The average July temperature is 20 centigrades. That's not hot, is it? Well, for the Buryatians, it might be. If they've got such cold winters, that might be hot to them. And it's relatively rainy as well in summer. So, the weather's not that great, is it? I think people are starting to go there on holiday, though, or they were. Wild animals found... This is what I like. I always like reading about animals. Wild animals found in forest areas of Buryatia include deer, reindeer, elk, boar, red squirrel, bear, lynx, and wolverine, which I thought was a bit like a wolf, but it's not. It looks more like a cross between a bear and a dog. Yeah, I put here, they look a bit like a dog and a bit like a bear. They are also called glutton, carcajou, or skunk bear. They are members of the weasel family and live in cold northern latitudes of North America and Eurasia, especially in woodland and forests. I wonder if there was wolverines in Britain once upon a time. Might have been. No, probably up in Scotland. The Orkney Islands. Siberian hamsters, yeah, and marmots Yeah, there's marmots in Switzerland. Also live in the steppe areas. Yeah, the Siberian hamsters are tiny. Really small but cute. There are numerous species of birds, including ducks and fish. Well, fish aren't birds, are they? And fish in the Buryat lands. Freshwater seals can be found on the many islands that dot the shoreline of Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal is the deepest continental body of water in the world, reaching a depth of 5,700 feet, or 1,737 metres. I wouldn't like to fall in that lake. I can't swim. I just fall to the bottom, wouldn't I? I'd never be found again. The lake contains about 20% of the world's freshwater reserves. Gosh. Alright, major holidays. That's a gala. Oh, that's a gala. I can't pronounce. The New Year's Festival. Sorry, I can't pronounce that other word. The New Year's Festival is the most popular Buryat holiday and is celebrated by feasting and drinking that, in theory at least, can last through the entire first month of that year. Oh, that sounds like fun. A Sagan Hara, or White Month. Oh, that's what they call it. I wonder why they call it the White Month. Dunno. Maybe all the alcohol makes me look pale. I don't know. Since the Buryats formerly used the lunar calendar, the Buryat New Year falls on a different day each year in the Gregorian calendar. That's what we use, isn't it? Buryats also celebrate the Western New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, 31st of December and the 1st of Jan. Buddhist Buryats also attend Sams, which is spelled T-S-A-M-S, Sams, which are festivals held at the Datsans, which temples. The featured dramatic dances by lamas, they're like Buddhist monks, lamas, in elaborate masks and costumes depicting gods and demons. Shamanist, did I say shaman? Shaman, innit? Shamanist Buryats also celebrate holidays called Talgans that begin with animal sacrifices. This is probably in the past. That began with animal sacrifices to local deities and ended with feasts, horse racing, wrestling matches, and archery contests. I think wrestling is their national sport, I think. And they've got a sumo wrestler as well. Obviously he's in Japan. I think he lives in Japan. But I saw a picture of him. He's young. Looks young. But very fat. You have to be fat to be a sumo wrestler, don't you? Good idea. I wonder if you could do sumo wrestling if you're a woman. I might look into that. But I wouldn't want to wear one of those nappy things, no. Wear a skirt over it. Alright. Christian Buryats also observe Christian holidays such as Easter and Christmas. Interpersonal relations. Don't know what this is going to be about. Can't remember. Upon receiving a guest in one's home for the first time, it is customary to present him or her with a kadag, a strip of silk. The host places the kadag across his or her outstretched arms, like that, and transfers it to the arms of the guest. This practice, along with the word kadag, is of Tibetan origin. It is considered poor manners to hand someone an item with one's left hand when in polite company. That's useful to know if you go there on holiday. Housing. Let me just see roughly how many more pages I've got to go. Oh God. How many have I done? No, I've got a bit more to do. And the nomadic Eastern Buryat tradition form of housing was the yurt or gur, which was covered with felt cloth and held in place by a wooden frame. The doorway of the gur always faced south. The gur could be quickly taken apart and reassembled when the family moved from pasture to pasture. I'm sure I've written about this further along. Because most Western Buryats live in mountainous areas unsuitable for nomadism, they used 8-sided permanent wooden yurts. As a result of Russian influence, some also adopted log cabins and houses. At the present time, rural Buryats live in wooden houses in collective farms. I'm not sure about that collective bit. And villages, because it's not communist anymore. And urban Buryats live in Soviet-type apartments. Well, they were there in Soviet times, weren't they? They're still standing. Soviet-type apartment buildings or private wooden houses. Because of the persistent shortage of desirable housing during the Soviet period, it was not uncommon for Buryat cities to live for years or even decades in crowded apartments with relatives or in dilapidated wooden houses that lacked indoor plumbing while waiting for suitable apartments of their own. It's probably like that all over Russia. Alright, not now. I don't know what it's like now. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Transport. Like all Mongol peoples, Buryats have traditionally been excellent horsemen, and horses are still widely used for transportation in the countryside. Buryats living in cities use public transport and public trams and buses, and some people drive. The Buryats did not have a written language until the early 17th century, when they began to write in classical Mongolian, a literary language traditionally employed by most of the Mongol peoples. In this flowing vertical script, words are written from top to bottom in columns of text that read from left to right. After 1929, Buryat was written in the Latin alphabet, which was in turn replaced by the Russian alphabet in 1938. Names. Alright, some Buryat male names include Agvan, Azargo, which means stallion, Baldan, Belikto, which means wisdom, Dojo, which means diamond, Eshi, and Kermen, which means squirrel. Quite nice names, actually. Girls' names, Bayama, which means joy or happiness, Darima, Deni, Galne, which means fire, and Konda, which means saviour maid. Oh, one more name, Sanjima, which means clean and honest. Many of the names derive from Tibetan Buddhism, and many of the names are found in Mongolia and are shared with other ethnic groups, such as the Tuvan and the Kalmyk. So many groups in Siberia, you wouldn't believe it. Alright, family names. Some family or last names are Ast, Jagan, Dondubon. I like that name, Dondubon, Jerim, Korchin, and Wang, which sounds Chinese, doesn't it? It must also be said that some Buryat people are given Russian first names, such as Yelena, Oleg, etc. Rites of passage. Buryats have traditionally called upon shamans or lamas, which are Buddhist priests, bless the birth of a child, because childlessness is considered a great misfortune by the Buryats, and infant mortality rates were high before the spread of Western medicine. Superstitious parents temporarily gave newborns unappealing names, or names inappropriate to their sex, in order to make them less attractive to evil spirits that might otherwise harm them. For this reason, it is still common to refer to infants in uncomplimentary terms. So you can't say, oh, your baby's really sweet. Your baby's ugly. The Buryats have no special rites of passage for childhood, puberty, or adulthood. Buddhist Buryats consider children to be without sin until they are about 8 years old, but attaining this age is not marked by any special ritual. Buryats traditionally disposed of their dead by exposing them in the open air or on the ground, or on a raised platform. Weapons, saddles, and other everyday items were sometimes buried with their owners, and the deceased's horse was sometimes killed. I think this is going back years ago. Shamans were cremated and their ashes placed in tree trunks. Groves that contained these trees but were considered sacred, and it was forbidden to take wood from them. Cremation was also common in traditional Buryat society, especially among Buddhist Buryats. Buryats now bury their dead in cemeteries or cremate them. Living conditions. The nomadic Eastern Buryats' traditional form of housing was the yer or ger. Oh, I've already read that bit. Yeah. This was from another website, so I think Wikipedia copied this bit. Or this person copied this bit from Wikipedia. Yeah, it's exactly the same. It's the same, yeah. That's why I got confused. Yeah, exactly the same. And that was from a different website. So they're all copying each other. Alright, marriage. Marriages used to be arranged, but during the 20th century, this tradition was gradually dispensed with and people married for love. Although some parents still use unofficial matchmakers to help their children find suitable partners, which I think is fair enough. I wish I'd had a matchmaker when I was a teenager, like, 18, 19, etc. Because I'm so shy of boys. But I wonder who my parents would have picked for me, though. If I could have a choice, though. I said, what type of man would you like? Well, he must be rich and handsome. Wait a minute, I'd like to pause this. Oh, hello, I'm back. No, sorry, I got it all wrong. They weren't copying Wikipedia, and the encyclopedia.com weren't copying each other. It was me. I just copied the same thing out twice. I'm sorry. Alright, it's going to be one video only. I've only got a bit more to read. Clothing. The traditional Buryat garment for both men and women is the degel, which is an ankle-length robe of felt, fur or cloth that is fastened on one side with buttons or hooks. Men also wear hats of cloth or fur and belts to which were attached knives. Oh, this is traditional garb. Knives in sheaths and elaborately decorated pouches for tobacco, snuff. I don't remember writing the word snuff. Tobacco, snuff, and that's light snuff. And fire making flints. Yeah, you don't need all that now, do you? I don't think you can even buy snuff anymore. I have to find out. You can still buy, what's that stuff that wakes you up? Something, I knew the French words. Smelling salts. You can still buy that online, and a lot of athletes use it before a race or something, because it wakes them up. And I was thinking, I used to be a bit addicted to that stuff. It really clears your head. I might get some, and I might get some snuff as well, if it's not illegal. It's just tobacco, isn't it? Powder. It's good if you're blocked up, though. Really good. Women wore trousers and shirts under their degels, and sometimes an embroidered vest on the outside. If you go on Wikipedia images, type in Buryat people, then you'll see the lovely traditional clothing. Women, especially wealthy ones, wore elaborate silver earrings, rings, and headdresses. I could just see me wearing an outfit like that. Can you? My eyes aren't really small. I've always had small eyes. See? I do look a bit Asian, don't I? Alright then. Today, almost all Buryats wear Western clothing, and few Buryats even own traditional clothing. Buryats who do own traditional garb only wear it on special occasions. Alright, notable people of Buryat descent, and I didn't know any of them apart from your Brynner, or Brenner, and I was interested in another one because he was a Ukrainian Prime Minister, or something like that. Alright, I don't know if it's spelled Bryner. That sounds more like Brenner, but most people say Brenner, don't they? Your Brenner. Well, his father was Swiss German and he was wealthy. And his mother was Russian, but of Buryat heritage. And that's where he got his good looks from. Not the Swiss German part, I don't think. And he was really good looking, wasn't he? And a very good actor in loads and loads of films. And was it 60s and 70s? Yeah, sad he died at 65 from smoking. He got lung cancer. And when he found out he had terminal lung cancer, he started all these things, anti-smoking campaigns. Oh man, 65. Yeah, well, he was Siberian. He was born in Vladivostok, which has got a different name now, but it's right in the southeast part, I think. Southeast part of Siberia. Yeah, I've said everything I think I know about him. Yeah, he was born in 1920 and he died in 1985. Another person, which I was surprised about, was someone called Yuri Yakan. Oh, he's still alive, by the way. He's not deceased. Yuri Yakanurov is a Ukrainian politician who was Prime Minister of Ukraine from 2005 to 2006. Is it President or Prime Minister that's higher? Vladimir. Is it Volodymyr? Volodymyr, what's his name? Zelensky. Is he President or Prime Minister of Ukraine? I don't know. I don't really know the difference. Do you? Right. So this man was Prime Minister of Ukraine for a year and Minister of Defence from 2007 to 2009. Wonder what he's Minister of now. Or has he given up politics? His father is an ethnic Buryat. And I looked at the picture of him and he's got a very nice look about him. Very kind looking face. His father is an ethnic Buryat while his mother is an ethnic Pole. And I can't believe it, I've finished. Just under an hour. I thought it was going to be in 2 parts. But I've done it. I wonder who the next group's going to be. Oh, before that, I'm going to do a shortish version. But yeah, it will be short. It's quite short. Of Buryat cuisine. And I might give you a few simple recipes that you can do at home. And then I plan to cook something Buryat. But I'm not going to make homemade noodles. And I'm not going to make blood soup or anything like that. It's just going to be normal. I might make a Buryat pilaf. Does that sound good to you? I'll have a look. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this. It wasn't as scary as I thought. And I thought with the next groups, it's going to be really quite similar to the Buryats. You know, a lot of their lifestyle will be very similar. So it'll be short, probably be shorter. And I won't have to explain what, I did write tundra. Tundra is a vast, flat, treeless Arctic region of Europe, Asia and North America. in which the subsoil is permanently frozen. Taiga, because you might hear about these in the next ones. Taiga is a swampy coniferous, I don't know what coniferous means, the swampy coniferous forest of high northern latitudes, especially between the tundra and steppes of Siberia. Steppes, a large area of flat, unforested grassland in Siberia. There. That's it for now. I don't know what group I'm going to pick next. I'm not going to do them all. I've got a feeling that the Inuits is going to be a really long one. Where's that bit of paper? I'm probably going to pick about another two and then leave it at that. And Dolgan, I haven't got a clue who they are. There's one here that I can't pronounce. It's Nganasun or An Naganasun. I'll probably do the Evan people or the Avank. The Avank look really interesting and the women look beautiful like models. So I might do the Avank. And there's another one called the Oroqen. And that sounds a bit like North American, maybe. You know, native. They don't call them Indians anymore. Native people, indigenous Americans. I don't know, I'll have to find out. But the Inuit are, I don't think they live in Siberia anymore. So I might leave them out. But I reckon there's a lot on the Inuits. Too much writing. Too much copying, I mean. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed learning about the Buryat people, who I am distantly related to. And I'll see you soon. Bye.